back here at Boreo's Restaurant, 8891 McDonald's Parkway in Cicero, New York. The little piece of the South, little piece of the water. And don't let it fool you. When winter comes around, and you know that it does in upstate New York, phenomenal view. Snowmobiles out on the water, places for you to park down here. They think about it all 4 seasons. The food is great. I just ordered my chicken quesadilla so I can feel a little bit better about myself tonight. And I do feel a little bit better because I was down in Florida on my honeymoon, and my Italian-Spanish complexion came out, so now I've evened out with you a little bit. I'm starting to get there.
I like the little...
Yeah, you like a little bit of this too? Yeah, a little bit of facial hair.
Summertime look.
Yeah, the goatee might come back. Who knows? So here with Adrian Autry, Syracuse Orange men's basketball. I'm Dan Tortora. As you know, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. WakeUpCallDT.com gives you everything. And YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT gives you every single one of these episodes as well. And we're talking NBA draft. We talked about Tyler Ennis. Make sure you check out that episode as well as the one on Jeremy Grant. The 2 guys that this gentleman is responsible for bringing into Syracuse. And CJ Fair, one of your position guys, one of the guys that did decide to come back. And I want to start there. He made the decision to come back for his 4th season, to be a senior with Syracuse. Not a lot of guys do that are trying to make it to the NBA. Him making that decision, when you look back on his final season, did you feel that it was worth it to him?
Absolutely. I think, when you get a chance, again, to play at a Syracuse University, and the stage that we played on in our first year in the ACC, and, him, from a basketball standpoint, being able to be in a different role, those are all things, that were challenging, that was good for him. But the first and foremost thing, besides all of that, the chance to get your degree and graduate supersedes everything. And I think, that's something that is not talked about. And I applaud him on that. And that's why I say, for CJ, that decision was a no-brainer, for me. The fact that he had his degree and he graduated, and he played here, and he had an unbelievable senior year. It didn't end the way, we wanted it to end, but that's life. Sometimes things happen. But for the first 4 months of the season, leading this team and, 25-0 and him, being seen in a different light, I thought was, invaluable. I think it's going to help him, and it helped his development as he continues to go, because CJ Fair is a phenomenal player, and he's going to continue to get better.
What is CJ Fair in your mind? I can analyze him and look at him, but what do you think is his strongest suit as he tries to go to the NBA?
Consistency, a guy that can play off people.
That's what I want to say.
Consistency, a guy that can play off people. And I think at the NBA level, that's what he'll do, is play off of guys. And we all know that CJ Fair, when he played off all those other teams that we've had, he was phenomenal in that role. So I think he'll get back to, being himself naturally. And I think he's a guy that, getting the right opportunity, he will be in the NBA for a long time.
You brought up consistency, and one of the parts of his consistency that I liked was another element of the game that he showed consistently, and that being the fact that when someone fronted him to try and prevent his shot, he'd take a baseline or he'd shoot it anyways. Not every guy at Syracuse did that. Not every guy in college basketball does that. Not every guy in the NBA does that. What do you think about his ability to shake off a defender? Where do you feel he's at right now as far as his talent? Because I think that he was one of the most unafraid players that Syracuse has had in a while.
Well, I think, when you talk about that level, the defense is a little bit different. And I think, again, if he's playing off someone, most of the time he'll have a defender running at him. It's very few times, if he's in that position that, CJ's going to be in a situation where he has to break someone down. I think he'll be playing off the guys, meaning the ball will be getting reversed to skip to him, and the defense will be running at him, and that's what he's really good, because he can shoot it, and he can attack off the bounce when he's strong, and he'd be able to take that kind of stuff.
His shooting ability, I never felt like he took a bad shot. I feel like if he took 400 shots a season, that I could sit down and say 2 of them maybe not. but the other 398 I'd be comfortable with as a coach. How good of a shot do you feel he's developed? Because before the Jeremy Grant conversation came along, it was all about CJ Fair working on his jump shot. So where do you see him right now?
I mean, I think his jump shot is he's got leaps and bounds from my first year working with him as a sophomore, where he really was kind of hesitant and just kind of finished around the rim and took to the basket. Where he got comfortable, as you see, as his junior year, he extended his range out to the three-point line and his pull-up and his mid-range. He just really worked at it. He really worked at it every day. And, I think, you've seen that as far as when he came in as a freshman until he left as a senior, how developed and how much work he worked on his own.
James Sutherland was a forward who, that was his game, was the jump shot. CJ Fair, not so much. When you look at the comparison of James Sutherland and CJ Fair, how do you compare them?
I think James he just had a natural touch. And I think CJ had to work to get it. But where James, his natural touch, outside shot, he was a better three-point shooter than CJ. CJ was better at finishing around the rim, but that was some of James', weaknesses that he had to work on. So I think, when you talk about players, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. But I think CJ Fair is a guy that worked on his overall game. He got better in every aspect of his game: ball handling, body, shooting, understanding the game.
The longer you stay in college, it seems like the farther you drop in the draft, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
But where could you see where would you like to see a CJ Fair? Not necessarily where he's going, but where do you think he should be valued at?
As you mean draft position, or just a team?
As far as position-wise.
Position as far as the number in a draft?
Yes.
I think he's a first-round guy, but that's not my decision. I think when you talk about guys, that you want to take in the first round, you want guys that when I came out, guys that could, was ready to play right away and be mature and physical. But it's different now. A lot of the draft now is upside and what a person can be. Very few, but I think in the range of CJ someone that I think can, step on and help someone right away as a rotation guy, something like that.
Where would he fit in? We talked about Tyler. You said a young team play right away. Jeremy, you said maybe he stands behind somebody who wins. Where's CJ Fair to you? What type of team would fit him best right now?
A veteran team that needs their bench to be younger. A Miami Heat, a San Antonio, Clippers. One of those teams that they have those guys, in their prime, so to speak, but kind of on the decline. New York, guys are older, where you need that infusion of youth that can come in and still contribute. I think those are the type of teams that CJ will be really good at.
CJ Fair, when we discussed the whole staying in a draft, the NBA drafts on potential now, but does it confuse you that once they see your potential, that it would make more sense to me to say, well, I know what CJ Fair can do. I know that he's gotten better, and I'm going to if I see a guy get consistently better every single year, be consistent on the court in a positive way, never really take a bad shot, and be willing to take a shot from anywhere and be involved on the defense, why wouldn't I want him over somebody who's 1 year in?
That's the question, I think, you try to figure out, but, it's that unknown. I think, in the NBA, you have to, that unknown. You don't want to be the guy that passes up on Michael Jordan. It's like that analogy. So sometimes, they gamble a little bit.
Could CJ Fair be an exception to this crazy potential rule when all is said and done?
I think so. I think CJ could be a guy that, becomes a contributor in the NBA for a long time, and kind of like, the Wes Matthews, the guy, I'm sorry, the name is not coming to me right now, the guy from Chicago Bulls who played him on court, two guard, can't remember his name offhand, but, those guys that kind of, you don't really hear, and next thing you know, they're contributing and being a big piece of something. I think C.J. Fair kind of fits that mold, under the radar guy that can, if he gets the opportunity to get in the right situation, can be very effective.
And lastly for CJ, what do you get off the court when you get a CJ Fair?
A kid that is going to do everything he needs to do. Great kid, quiet kid, basketball is serious. He'll be in the gym for the most part, probably.
CJ Fair in the gym, hopefully in his case for an NBA team, but no matter what, I think that the two of us and you watching, if you've ever seen a game that CJ Fair is in, can agree that the talent is there, the experience is there, and this, which goes so underestimated, is there as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. You cannot substitute that, the IQ and the professionalism and the steadiness and the hard work. That's what CJ Fair brings.
CJ Fair talking about him, Adrian Autry, Syracuse Orange men's basketball, assistant coach, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. You couldn't see it, but we just had somebody come up and bring a Syracuse book bag.
You got a big Syracuse fan. Here he comes back again.
So we're going to try and get that signed for him. Make sure you come out to Borio's next time, 8891 McDonald's Parkway. You don't want to miss out on your opportunity to bring your favorite Syracuse thing over to Adrian Autry, and I'd love to meet you as well. Make sure you come out to Borio's, and thanks as always to Adrian.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Take care.